Hello and welcome. It's 2015. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Kylie Smiley from the Mobile Marketing Link, and it's just been a whirlwind up until now. I'm sorry, it's been a little while since the last live hangout, but we're into a new year. We're moving along fast, and I wanted to start the year off really with some takeaway information that you can really utilize and think about for your planning for 2015. This year is going to be huge. Mobile is moving so quickly, and certainly, as I've gone on about before, without mobile as part of your mix of marketing and connecting with your customers through mobile, you're really going to see some changes in your business this year. So thinking about bringing it on is essential right now to make sure that you maximize this huge wave of connectivity. And before I go on a little further into our guest today, to introduce our guest today, I'd just like to thank you all. Many of you have shown such support and prayers and love for the family tragedy that we incurred this year. But good news is everything's going well. My stepson was in a very bad way, and he's now recovering from a liver transplant and doing exceptionally well. So we're really pleased, and just wanted to say a quick thank you very much. Really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce to you a friend and a colleague of mine who lives here in Newcastle as well. He's definitely considered a Novocastrian, and that's that's really good. I can hear him chuckling in the background. So Todd Sergeant is the gentleman I'd like to introduce to you, and Todd has been kind enough to give us some time today. Just to give you a bit of background on Todd. He's got over 25 years experience across most levels of media, predominantly radio, and he brings the ability to look at challenges from all angles with a view to total client satisfaction. His goals include forming successful and lasting relationships with clients and providing creative solutions on time and on budget, delivering quality training and mentoring for people inside and outside of the media sphere. So, he works for a radio station as a DJ, but also he has his own media company, which I'll have him explain in a bit more detail, because there's so much value there, and Todd certainly brings a lot to the table. So, without further ado, welcome, Todd. How are you today?
Carly, I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks so much for joining us.
Not a problem at all. So you'd like me to explain a little bit more about what I do, yeah?
Yes, please. That would be lovely.
Not a problem. Cover a multitude of roles. Apart from working for 2NURFM as a breakfast announcer, my role is the program manager. And the role of a program manager is to basically oversee everything that happens on air. So I say to people, if you hear something you like on the radio, 2 thumbs up. My responsibility. If you hear something you don't like, well, I take that as well. So not only am I on the air at the coalface, I'm also in the programming department, coming up with new concepts, making sure we're playing the right music, our presenters are doing the right things, and also liaising with sales, which is something we're probably going to talk about as well. I've also got my own business, which is called RTS Media and Training, and I mentor and I train people across many platforms with the media. I've got private students and clients who I train to deal with the media, some fairly high-profile sports people who need to go in front of the camera or behind the microphone, and I teach them how to do that successfully. Media training, a lot of people who want to get into radio, sound engineering, things along those lines. I work with clients to work on their branding for their business, to improve that. Also voiceovers for TV, for radio, for corporate videos, and narration for audiobooks, and basically television series and videos. So I cover a fairly wide gamut of the media.
Wow, that's awesome. And here I was thinking well, I've been told I can talk underwater, but I think you might beat me, Todd.
Possibly.
So thank you again. And today I'd really like to chat with you about what's going to happen for 2015 for small businesses and their relationship with their customers through the different channels that we're all now accustomed to. So all the different devices, now they're becoming wearable, but, you know, there's always, you know, going back to traditional media, television's still there, radio's obviously still there. There's a lot of different traditional medias that have evolved and have really embraced the new way of communicating with customers now. So I really love your take on that, where you see radio influencing business and business clients in relation to the evolution of, you know, mobile and things like that.
Okay, I think when it comes to the various areas of what we call the traditional media, the radio, television and newspaper, things have changed a heck of a lot. And I'm sure that there are a lot of your clients and a lot of people who advertise who know that a certain sector of the media works for them. Some people will say newspapers work brilliantly for us, radio doesn't. Other people will say radio works really well, television doesn't. So we've seen a very big change in newspapers, and I think in relation to the Newcastle Herald, you know, they've gone through a lot of changes, not just the Newcastle Herald, but newspapers right around the globe. They've been playing catch-up. All of a sudden it's considered an old style of media, and people are going to iPads, they're going to Kindle to get their information, their desktops, their laptops, whatever they may be using, even their smartphones. So I don't think you're going to see the traditional forms of the media go away, but they're going to have to change. And radio is no different to that. I can't speak for television. Obviously, I do work with television, but it's changed a heck of a lot. You know, if you cast your mind back 10 years, if you wanted to watch a certain program, well, it was on at 7:30 on a Wednesday night. And before VCRs, if you weren't home to see it, you missed out on it. So many things have changed. We've got catch-up TV, all that kind of thing, TV on delay, and Foxtel's come into the mix in that situation as well. Probably the best thing I can talk about is the radio side of it. And there are a lot of businesses who turn around and think, oh, radio's old media, it's changed, we're all going online. But as far as 2NURFM's concerned and the people I associate with, what's changed for us, radio stations are now no longer a radio station. So I know that sounds kind of bizarre, but I look at the station I work for, 2NURFM, and also the stations that I consult for. It may have a call sign that ends in FM. That's great. We know it's a radio station. But for me personally now, it's a brand. And as far as we're concerned, yes, we broadcast to what we call terrestrially, the old stick antenna transmitter in your car or at home. But we also stream on the net. We also have an app on our smartphone. So when people head away, if they like the station they're listening to, they take it with you. And one of the benefits of the app is we get so many people who travel overseas, they want to take a little bit of Newcastle with them. They want to hear the news from Newcastle. They want to hear what's happening. But whilst they're hearing the news and the music and the people they know, they're also hearing the sponsors' messages while they're away. So it's very powerful.
Right. No, fantastic. Absolutely. And I understand that, you know, as part of that, really embraced, as you said, the app side of things. You understand, you know, radio is understanding the connection with people wherever they are, being able to live stream and communicate. But the social media side is huge to develop that almost a one-to-one relationship with your clients and with the listeners is just has had incredible return because they're getting to know you personally. It's not just one way anymore. It's really both ways. It's a two-way communication, and I think we've spoken about this before, Todd, about the fact that previously it was all about pushing out. You know, you push out your advertising, you're pushing out the message about the radio station and the format, and okay, listeners can call in, but now they've got multiple ways to connect with you. They can go on the app, they can go on social media, they can go on, they can text in to you, so you can't hide. That's the problem that you have now. But
no,
yeah. So
no, you're right. You can't hide, and you don't want to hide. One of the things I can tell you, the evolution, you said I've been in radio for 25 years. It's actually 28, which is kind of scary. I've just added 3 years onto that. But I can tell you the evolution. I started in radio when we were still playing records. Now I walk into Yeah, I walk into a radio studio now that is all computerized. So you hit the nail on the head when you spoke about interaction. Years gone by, we would walk into a radio station, we would play the music we deemed we should play, which is still largely the case, but we would talk at people. The only way they could communicate with us was via the phone. And I'll be honest, a lot of radio announcers and a lot of stations never bothered answering the phone. You just expected people to like you, to listen to you. That's changed. 2014, 2015, I can tell you when I go on the air of the morning, I'm not just broadcasting. I will walk in and I'll be thinking about, what will my Facebook topic be today? What can I allow people to communicate with me on and give me their opinion? What will I be tweeting? What information about my program will I be tweeting? I'll be not only giving our phone number, I'll be giving our email address, I'll be giving our hashtag, Twitter, Facebook, and the list goes on and on. So when I say that we're a platform, I don't care how I reach my listeners. I really don't. If someone doesn't listen to me on the radio, but gets up in the morning and is doing something and has me down there on their iPad monitoring my Facebook page, I am happy. And one of the things I love, I can throw a topic out and within 30 seconds, someone is communicating with me. I've got a one-to-one. The old days of radio just being up there talking at people has gone, and that is one of the powerful things about radio. Of course, I'm going to spruik for radio. I'm excited about radio. I love radio. Television can't do it. They can do it a little bit with Twitter, but they can't do it because 9 times out of 10 the programs are recorded as opposed to having a live announcer. Newspapers can't do it, but they're starting to do it a little bit more with their web pages and their social media pages, but radio is still very powerful.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Just when you mentioned newspapers, it just amazed me. Only even 3 years ago, they still didn't have the right online presence, even though I knew that they knew that it was coming. They've known this has been coming for a long time. I remember, in my past life, doing an install for voice communications for News Limited, and they had this brand new department that was going to be totally separate from their major print area, and that was all going to be about new media, but it just, and that was, gosh, that was near 15, 20 years, nearly 15 years ago, and it's only sort of in the last year or two that they've really evolved to recognising where their consumer base are, and this is what it's all about. Radio's really embraced it, and especially too when you are, from what I've noticed, they were the first ones in the area to have an app, and also that relationship, that two-way openness, that you weren't scared of getting any negative feedback or hearing from the general public from all angles. It can be quite daunting, and many business owners feel that way, but certainly, for those that are listening and those that are going to see this video and recording, I think that it's really important, if you're a business owner, to understand the power of just being you and having that openness to receive anything, good, bad, ugly. It doesn't matter, as long as you're seen to be responding to it genuinely and humanely, and to be giving, and certainly to be understanding and listening. And it's all about listening, at the end of the day, isn't it, Todd?
And I do, and I think, well, what do they say? One mouth, two ears, and I think there's a heck of a lot of logic in that. I think when it comes to businesses, I want to throw out the term new media. As far as I'm concerned, it's dead. New media does not exist anymore, because what happens is, when you use the term new media, you think of an old media and a new media. Right. I don't agree with that anymore. We're in 2015, we've got all these wonderful platforms. One size does not fit everyone. And when it comes to businesses, one of the things that we've discovered from a radio station point of view is it's not only about using social media and every media, but it's about using it in a smart fashion. And I'll give you an example. One of the things at 2NURFM, when I come on to do my program in the morning, I think about how I'm asking questions. I think about what I'm putting to the listeners. What are the hot button things that are affecting their life? But not only that, I don't give them the option to give me a yes or no answer. Right. If I ask a question, it's a case of, this has happened. Do you think this is acceptable? And if not, how would you do it? I want to engage people. Once you get people talking, once you get people feeling comfortable, then all of a sudden they take ownership. Yeah. When when they can be a part of something, they take ownership of it and they become very, very, very protective. Now, they may not always agree with what you do, and there may be days that you tread on someone's corns, welcome to the world, but when people feel they're being considered, they'll go a long, long, long way. And time is precious. You know, I just want to touch on one thing. I do a message on hold, a part of my business, and I'll talk to clients and they'll say, oh, look, we can just throw this on or throw that on. I won't mention the name of the organisation, but I got put on hold with a financial institution last week, and I was on hold for 15 minutes. That didn't bother me because the staff member who was helping me was fantastic. She did a brilliant job. She helped me out. She sorted out my issue. The challenge I had was I was on hold with that business and they had a 45-second jingle that looped around and around and around.
Wow.
And by the end, I was nearly going to hang up because it was driving me insane. And when I finished my call, I said to the girl who was dealing with me, I said, look, can you put me in touch with your PR department? And she asked why. And I said, look, your service has been great, but this is what I do for a living. I mentor and I talk to businesses about productive and powerful on-hold messaging. And I said, you've had 15 minutes of my time. My time is very valuable. And your organization hasn't told me one thing about what you can do for me. It hasn't told me one thing about what you do in the community. This particular organization does a lot of community service. You haven't told me about that. You haven't sold me another product. All you've done is make me angry. And you sit there and you think, if big business don't see that, if they can't see the benefit of that, and if they can't see that they're doing something wrong, and what do you think I did while I was waiting for them? I'm sitting there bored. I tweeted about them. Can't believe it. I'm on hold for 15 minutes and I'm just having... So new media is gone. People will communicate in so many ways and they'll communicate instantly about your business, both good and bad.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's possibly why the print media has been so slow to get into the space where they need to be for a two-way connection. I don't believe they're there yet still. I think radio is way ahead of them in that respect. But I totally agree with you. It really isn't a matter of new media. It's really about whatever device suits you, whatever platform that suits you, and wherever you happen to be, that's going to be convenient. And that's why it's important for business owners as well to understand that where their tribe are, where are the people that are going to most likely love your business? Where are they hanging out? Are you communicating with them? What are you asking them open-ended questions like yourself, Todd? Are you doing those things that are engaging conversation? Because majority now as well have got you with them everywhere they go, and this is the first screen. It's no longer third screen, it's first screen now. And it's only going to get more so. So, it's exciting. And certainly if we look at what's happening in 2015, I was just reading this note. It was actually a blog from Google. And, Google have actually said some of their things that they're looking at that will happen this year is real time will rule. It's a dominating social search and pricing optimization, and certainly mobile, through mobile, is going to be absolutely, the winner of all, because people are now searching, more people are searching on from a mobile or from a mobile device versus a PC, Mac, that sort of thing, your traditional means of, when I keep coming back to that word traditional, I really should get rid of that too, shouldn't I?
No, but it's difficult because we've grown up through that and we've evolved through it, but you do need to think about what is a traditional kind of medium, but it doesn't mean you can't embrace the new, and I think that anyone who doesn't, and look, you talk about the smart device, whether it's an Android, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's an iPad. I've got this theory. We live our lives, so much of our lives is lived through that little device. I'd love to undertake a study where if you pulled someone aside and you said, look, if you were approached in the street and you had two options, one was to hand over your smart device at a value of $500. The other option was to give that person $1,000. Which would you give up? I've got
Right.
to be honest. I've got so much of my life in my. I can replace that money, but my
Yeah.
smart device is set up, and I personally, as much as I wouldn't want to give anyone anything in that situation, I think the cash would be easier to part with.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting, Todd. I've never been posed that question before, and I would struggle with that one as well. I think I'd have to definitely keep my device, and it's frightening because I've often called it it's our other appendage. It's another appendage of ours that we can't go anywhere without this, and we can't let it go. It's like the other child or the child we haven't had yet or whatever it is, you know. It's
Don't know
actually,
how your children would feel about that, but I know what you mean.
well, my poor child's now getting, he's 9.5, and his other name is tech support.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, and he's probably old tech support.
Right, right, exactly. Well, the problem is that we've always been a little bit, oh, go out inside and play on your bike and all the rest of it. So he's not as tech savvy as most 9-year-olds, but he's getting there.
But Kyla, if I could give a little bit of thought from what you mentioned the term again, traditional. So radio. A lot of people think that radio is an old technology that it's had its day. You know, I remember the song "Video Killed the Radio Star" in 1979. I also remember when MTV came on, and they said, "That's it. MTV will kill radio. It's dead and gone." You know what? It's not, and there's a reason why radio will survive, but it needs savvy radio operators to keep it, and
Yeah.
it's local. Whenever I train anybody, I'll turn around and I'll say, look, here's the 3 things I want you to be when you're on the air. Local, local, and local. There are so many options for music. You've got the likes of Spotify, Pandora, Sirius, you've got all those kind of things. We've got so many options of streaming music. We've got, well, iPods are starting to phase out now. People walking around with 2,000 songs and they'd listen to 10 of them. So whilst people think that people will turn away from radio, if you give them a reason to listen, if you're local, if you're proud of being local, if you talk about things that are happening in their community, and this is the ripple in the pond effect. When people talk about advertising, okay, where am I going to put my advertising dollar? Where is it going to go? If it's a station that understands where it sits in the community, then it's very, very powerful. But what radio and what 2NURFM has done, and other stations as well, but I think we do it really well, is saying to people, okay, if you want to come and advertise on our station, that's fabulous. You want to be a sponsor of 2NURFM. If you want to have sponsorship segments on there, that's great. But we've also got a web page where if we have a weekend that's happening, you can sponsor that weekend. Your brand gets put on there. Your logo gets put on there. Not only do we put the logo on, because I do a lot of the web design, it's hyperlinked to your business.
Mm.
So when businesses are looking at radio, what they need to do is ask some more questions. Hey, I'd love to advertise on your radio station or in the form of community radio. I'd love to be a sponsor. What's your web presence? What's your online presence? Do you have an app? Can people who travel overseas, if they love your station or travel anywhere within Australia, will they still listen to your station and hear our sponsorships or our advertising? And I think that if you're doing everything right as far as your product is concerned, if you're local and you give your local audience a chance to listen, they won't. They'll get bored. They want the news. They want to know what's happening in the traffic. They want the weather for their area. We've had some big falls overnight. We had flash flooding in Newcastle yesterday. People want to know about that, and they're not going to get it with a music streaming app.
Right, exactly. No, I totally agree with you, and it's certainly, just becoming more, it's ever present, and many business owners are now sort of seeing ways that they can be a little bit more creative to have that relationship two-way and embrace radio in a way that's going to benefit them with all areas of their presence, whether it's online or offline. And now, it's refreshing to see them starting to use SMS as well.
Yep.
Even though some consider that now passe as well, it's older technology, or it's what people did a while ago. that's not true. It's actually growing because it cuts through everything. And seeing radio stations embracing that, where people can text in their favourite song or text a question in and receive a text back, that is, I mean, it's direct touch. There's no interruption. It's one-to-one, and this isn't, something that's evolved and certainly will be very, very much dominant in 2015. That's what I see, where we're seeing it on TV, text for competitions and things like that, text a keyword and then receive an entry and all those sorts of things. But the radio certainly will start embracing that more, and I think that for their advertisers, it's important for them to use it as a way and means to really collect data, start collecting information so that you can have an even more personalised relationship with the tribe that truly loves that brand. So once they see that, the value in radio is going to shoot up. That's how I see that as well. But and certainly Google has recognised that also. They another thing I'll just mention here about these predictions for 2015. They've actually, where is it here? It said here, the four B's for 2015 are: one, be found. So search is still the killer app. So it's more location based, and the more personalised, like offers to you visual things, real time news, all those sorts of things are really important to people. Now, a B number 2 is be engaging. So just like you said, Todd, you think about the things that are going on, like the flash flood yesterday, and bushfires, or anything exciting, the show that's coming up, all those sorts of things that are coming that are going to be helpful to the community, to the local community, is going to be highly relevant. And talking about relevant, B number 3 is be relevant. Obviously, real world, real time again. So people know immediately they can get the information straight away. They'll just turn to you. If you start doing, and you've noticed this yourself, you started doing these consistent updates live, people they start to understand, and they feel that you're the go-to person. And all of a sudden, you're the expert that knows what's going on in Newcastle at every, in the slot that you're there and beyond. So it's interesting as well that most DJs or most people who work in radio who are live have a certain slot. And once that slot's done, then that's it, communication over with the rest of the world. But with social media, text, everything else, you can still remain engaged, which is massive, a huge shift, I'm sure. So the last B is be accountable. So Ford, for instance, has identified 5 key buying actions based on closely measured online behaviour. If someone configures a car online, Ford now knows they are more likely to buy one. The car company uses this information to target digital advertisers, generating high-value leads and test drive registrations for its dealers. So unlike traditional, again, local media, Ford can measure the exact return on the investment and the accountability pay. So the same applies for radio as well.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I'd like to just rewind back to your thoughts on SMS. I think anyone who says that SMS or text messaging is dead and gone is crazy. I would run a million miles personally from them. I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly. It is going to get bigger. It is getting bigger. And the one thing that people tend to forget, and with the advent of more technology, our bushfires. The minute there is a bushfire in an area, the emergency services have got the ability to flash across all providers, all operators, to put out text messages. So sometimes the old or some of the original, techniques or the original technology isn't necessarily bad. So me personally, I think SMS is only going to get more powerful, and it's only my personal opinion, but I'm noticing radio. Some people, for example, don't want to ring a radio station. It's amazing how many times people will ring up a radio station, and you can tell they're nervous. Why they're nervous, I don't know, but also they're ringing the radio station, they ring the DJ. Wow, he or she's a star or a celebrity, I feel really nervous. Okay, fine. So they may not communicate with us on that level. Some people don't have Facebook, or some people don't choose to use Facebook. And I'll tell you one of the little tips that I use. If I have a morning topic, which I do every morning on Facebook, I will never mention last names of people who have Facebooked me. Reason being is, if they happen to be at work and they've decided they're listening to the radio at work and I ask a question, I don't want their boss driving in and going, oh, America Phipps is, you know, she should be working, or Barry Smedley should be working, and he's contacting the radio station. Some people don't have Facebook, and some people don't want to be recognized for having an opinion. So we give people the opportunity of text. It's anonymous. We get, unless they give us their name, all we have is their phone number. So I don't care how people communicate with us. I don't care if they use a carrier pigeon. I really don't. I just want to communicate to them, and I want them to communicate with me, because some of the best material I get is from my listeners. And I've got I'm really proud in my entire radio career, I've got the best one-to-one with my listeners. So SMS, hands down, we're looking at doing more of that. You talk about be engaging. Valerie Geller, and if anyone would ever like to have a look at Valerie Geller, she's a wonderful radio trainer. She's got books. I think the book is called Powerful Radio and that kind of thing. She's got a saying, there's no such thing as a boring story, just boring storytellers. So right. Be engaging, engage people, bring them in and talk to them. Accountability, one of the big hassles, and I know you weren't looking at it in this situation, but when it comes to social media, a lot of the media are very scared of social media purely and simply for the moderating. It's so hard to do. If you've got a topic that goes crazy on Facebook, all of a sudden, you know, we can get 127 comments. And for us, that's really, really good. And what happens is people start having comments within comments. They have our listeners communicate with us and then communicate with each other and have this wonderful community. Moderating is really difficult because it only takes that one little comment to get through. So a lot of the newspapers are steering clear of it. They're not getting involved because they don't have the staff to moderate properly. So from a radio perspective, it's very, very interesting. From business points of view, look at the best way you can communicate. I don't care how I reach my audience or my clients. If they want to communicate with me via smart device, I don't mind. And you know, it's the same for business. Yes, you may have advertised in the paper, radio or television for years. You may have a great relationship with your sales executive, but gee, don't blind yourself to the possibilities. And just because you don't understand it, don't discount it.
No, so true, so true. And this is why, Todd, you know, you're the only person I thought of to come on and talk about this, because you have the deepest understanding of this media and understanding people. And I've listened to you many times, and I've said this to you actually before, it's, you know, maintaining that happy persona and making sure that everyone's catered for and that you're always thinking of the other person, and you really hear that in your voice and when you communicate with people, and they are just elated. I mean, it's amazing. You know, that's probably why so many women call in too.
Oh, how do you know that?
They're going through, like in the morning, they're getting themselves organised, their children, their husbands, their partners, whoever it might be, and to hear this cheerful, happy person who's communicating what's going on and maybe, you know, throwing things out there that are thought-provoking and engage people personally, then, and they've all got this still in their hand while they're doing 10 different things and going da 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 da, you know. So it just proves the point, like you said, just, you know, really be thoughtful in the way that you're approaching this. Don't be scared. Don't be worried about what's going to come back to you, because if you're doing the right thing, for the most part, you know, you're going to have good things come back to you. So, and whatever medium it is, as long as you get permission, you know, and with social media, it's up to people to respond if they want to, and if they've liked you or whatever it is, they've already given permission and they've said, yes, I want to hear more of this because they've liked you. But with mobile, again, it's definitely about making sure that you've got permission and that you've communicated that really clearly, because just like having another child. It's a very, very personal thing to be interrupting somebody. It's like having, as I said, I've said this before, it's like having the key to somebody's home. So, business owners, those business owners that are watching today, listening today, really think about, who you want to engage and where they are and what they're doing. That will put you in phenomenal stead to communicate your message to solve the problem that's eluding them or that they feel. And it's all about the emotion to get their reaction so that they come in, ask questions, buy from you, and tell their friends. And that's the big thing. And Todd, you've experienced this where, people are chatting about whatever the subject you've done for the day, and all of a sudden it can blow out because their tribe and all the people that are connected with them have embraced that communication, going, well, yes, well, I want to put my 2 cents in, blah, blah, blah. So really exciting. It's really exciting. So look, we'll wrap up. We could talk forever, I know, and we'll certainly probably, if you're open to it, to come back again, and we'll talk in depth about one particular area, possibly. That might be great. Just on closing, what would you like to leave business owners and listeners with, and people who are thinking about how they can, grow their tribe and grow their business using different platforms, and a little bit about, what they need to think about? What would you leave them with?
This is unusual. Generally, I wrap people up. Now I'm being wrapped up, so this is kind of foreign. I don't know that I particularly like this.
I'm really nervous because I'm not a pro at this. This is amateur hour. So.
Oh, you're doing very well. No, look, thank you for the opportunity to do a wrap. There's a couple of things that I would say. First and foremost, just because you don't understand the media, don't poo-poo it. So, and just because you may not use Facebook, if you're a man or a woman in business that doesn't feel the need for Facebook, that's fine. But learn about it. If you want your business to grow, it's not going away. SMS is not going away. Facebook, Twitter is not going away. Learn about it. I'm not here to spruik business for anybody, for myself, for you. We're talking about it, but get someone in who is a professional when it comes to SMS technology and some of the amazing things. What you do blows my mind. Talk to people who know, because it is going to grow your business. What do they say? A definition of insanity is doing the same thing time after time and expecting a different outcome. So if you feel things aren't working, then make that change. Talk to people. Don't be scared to potentially go to some younger people and say, well, how do you use it? Secondly, if you decide to put your toe into social media, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook, whatever you wish to use, Instagram, it doesn't matter. Think about what you do. Some mediums work better for others. And I'll give you a very quick example if I can. Twitter, to me, is like an advertising source. Tell people what you're doing. You've got limited characters, get that out there. Facebook is not for that. Interact with people. If you're a business, okay, if you are a business, and I think travel agents do it very, very well, but I'll use this as an example. If you're a business that's a travel agency, don't tell people about your specials on Facebook. Interact with them. Hey, it's been a long year. Where would you like to go on a holiday if you had the chance? People will then go, they will start to interact with you. It will go back and forward, and all of a sudden they feel they know you. So don't just do social media. I hear so many clients say, oh yeah, we should give it a crack. We should do it. Don't do it badly. Find out what to do. So in that situation, and in closing, the smart devices, smartphones, we shouldn't really call them phones anymore. Most of the communication isn't phone communication. They're not going away. Have a look at your brand and think, how can I get to my clients, to my customers, to my supporters? And it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it. And SMS, social media, yeah, radio, paper, television. Look at it from a holistic point of view.
Right.
So I'm bouncing because I'm my fitball in my studio. I don't know if you can see that.
I knew you couldn't hold on too much longer. You had to go and give us
sorry about that.
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
look, we have to expect the unexpected with a radio personality. So, as long as you don't break into song, that's.
It's interesting. I've just recently done a TV commercial for a local company, and I love that my listeners have been ringing up and they've been giving it to me. Like if one more person rings up and goes, "Gee, Todd, how much makeup did you have on?"
I know. What was all that about? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either, and people said, "Have you seen it?" And I go, "No, I haven't." They're going, "Oh yeah, sure." And it's so, and I said to them, "I love wearing the makeup." So for a radio person to come out from behind the microphone, we don't do it that often. We're like vampires. We don't generally come out during the day, but yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Good on you. Good on you.
I'm embracing eyeliner.
What was that?
I'm embracing eyeliner.
Oh, are you not? Isn't it just enough to be playing, one of the Kiss songs, like every now and then?
It's okay. It's all good.
I know Newcastle loves the 80s, so that's probably good, Todd.
Yeah.
We'll wait to see that in the next hangout, okay?
Yeah. Think Boy George. That's what you...
Oh God. You really want to hurt me, don't you? All right, we'll stop now. That's it.
We will.
Okay, Todd, thank you so much. We're going to end it there. I really appreciate it. And actually, before we go, Todd, what's the best way people can get in contact with you if they have questions about social media, about your voiceovers, those sorts of things? Is it Facebook?
Yeah, no, certainly the best thing to do is to drop me a line on my email. It's Todd, T-O-D-D, at rtsmedia.com.au. So Todd at rtsmedia.com.au. But look me up on Facebook or look me up on LinkedIn. More than happy. If anyone's got any questions about social media or marketing, I'm more than happy to have a chat and fling me an email or friend me on Facebook, and I'd love to have a chat.
Oh, fantastic. That's really generous of you. And Todd is a wealth of information. He understands human behaviour. He understands how people react to things. He's been on the coalface for quite some time now. So his resources are invaluable. To have access to the things that he knows is just phenomenal. And please don't hesitate to utilise that as well. So I'm going to sign off now. Thank you again for joining us. Another episode of Mobile Marketing Link will be coming your way very, very soon. We're going to try to do these weekly. Sometimes I'll have a guest, sometimes I won't. I am planning to do a webinar about SMS and how it can benefit your business. That'll be in the next week or so. So if you want to get updates and know when that's happening, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Also, head to Mobile Marketing Link and opt in, put your first name and your email address, and I'll certainly be in contact with you. You're welcome to connect with me on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, and they're probably the main ones for now. So look, have a profitable week. Make sure you're collecting information from every one of those clients that visits you, pays you patronage or buys from you. And continue to communicate with them, ask them questions and get their feedback, and you'll find that they just want to help you grow your business even more. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.